Okay guys, I'm back and I just made a video about you know, Black Lives Matter, that issue. So check that out if you want before checking this video out. I will tell you it's kind of lengthy though. So, but it has some good points in it, I feel. So, give it a shot. This video, as I said in a previous one, I am going to talk about LGBT equality. And once again, this is a topic that a lot of people don't want to address, or a lot of people just want to disregard. So I'm going to tell you now, if you're one of those people, just leave, because this is something that needs to be put out there, and I am not going to be hesitant to just giving the facts, and I'm not going to be hesitant to just point out the obvious. So if you have a problem with it, then leave. So here it goes. Basically, I want to start off with just what is LGBT. Well, the acronym is an acronym, and it stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. There's actually others, like genderqueer. There are tons of other spectrums, but that's just what It's actually LGBTQ plus now, because they realize there's other sexualities and stuff. So I guess I want to address the issues that really plague this community and how I feel about them, because honestly, I am not gonna sit here and pretend like no, the LGBT community is not targeted, is not oppressed, is not being held back, because it is. And there are a lot of hate crimes, just like there are a lot of hate crimes directed towards blacks. There are a ton of hate crimes that are directed towards lesbians, gays, even transgenders, that that have not been reported, or that have been reported, but they've been just pushed under the rug because people just don't want to feel like talking about them. And I feel like that needs to be addressed. It's really disheartening when you have the same people who will sit up here, even the same people that will preach equality, talking about, well, you can't treat this race like this, or you can't treat somebody badly, but then you'll turn right around, and just because of somebody's sexual orientation, you'll go and treat them horribly. You'll go and talk about them. You'll shun them. You'll do all sorts of crazy stuff. And a lot of that comes from not understanding, and a lot of it comes from not wanting to understand. And yeah, you might not be comfortable with it. You might not be comfortable with it. You might not understand it. But that doesn't give you the right to be mean to people. That doesn't give you the right to murder people because of that. And that's exactly what happens. Because I feel as though a lot of people don't know just to the extent people go, how hateful people are towards the LGBTQ community, and then wonder why we have to speak out as much. And yes, I said we, because I'm also a part of that. I was reading an article yesterday about a trans woman who's, was a man who was transitioning, and he was a war vet. Because of the fact that the people in this area, there were these group of boys that jumped, him and this girl he was with, he was just so scared and frightened about, well, he was just terrified to transition, to be seen as that, because of all the danger and stuff it would pose him. He just couldn't handle that. Not to mention he's a war vet. So you can imagine what kind of memories, what kind of things stirred up in him that would have made him just decide to detransition. And, he was beaten pretty bad. He even called the police, and they just hung up on him, or they just disregarded it. And it's just sad, because it's just horrible, the kind of things that the extent people go to. And I'm gonna call some institutions out that that I feel that know this happens but won't address it. There are a lot of these organizations that say, well, we want equality, we promote equality and stuff. It's a load of garbage, because there's no reason why a person who's part of the LGBT spectrum has to be treated so negatively just for that one aspect of who they are. Mind you, it is just one aspect. It's not, your orientation doesn't make up the entire thing of who you are. There's so much more to you than that. And the fact that people still, feel as though, well, this one person, this one characteristic is just, it just bothers you so much. It's just like, I don't understand why that has to be the case. And I understand it comes from ignorance, but it's to the point now where some people have the means and stuff to look up about it, and that there have been studies done on people that show this stuff. This stuff isn't made up. This stuff isn't chosen, and etc. But there are people who just choose to be stuck in that one frame of mind, who just choose to be ignorant, and that's unfortunate. Because all you're doing is you're allowing this to happen. You're part of the reason this problem with hate towards the LGBTQ plus community still happens. And I'm not about to sit here and be quiet about the fact that there's some institutions that even support it. Well, not support it, but unknowingly, you're edging on. A lot of these hate crimes are inspired by religious beliefs and stuff like that. And there are people in church that know that this happens, yet you still continue to preach the same stuff. There's so much stuff out there now. We know so much more about the human body, the brain, and all of that, sexual orientation, gender identity, and etc. But you choose not to look into that because you want to hold on to this one little narrow-minded belief that you have, and it's really frustrating because it's just like I sit there and I listen to what they say, what some people say, and just like, you're part of the reason why people are out here, being harmed and stuff, because people take what you say into account and feel as though, well, okay, we don't want, God doesn't want these fags around, God doesn't want these, whatever slurs that you use that are inappropriate. They feel like they could just go out and just attack these people just for this reason, and it's really frustrating to me that this isn't brought up. This isn't brought up hard anywhere near as much as it should be brought up. And then even when it is brought up, they try to lessen it. They don't even give the person, the respect that they deserve. Especially the person that was murdered. You'll sit up here and address them in such a non-respectful way, or such a horrible, such a non-representative way, that it's just like, what was the point? And so, as you could probably tell, this is something that really, bothers me, is the amount of hate that still exists. And we've made strides, but we have a long way to go still, as you can tell, based on how people feel and stuff like that. Especially when it comes to gay marriage, because people feel as though it should be between a man and a woman. Well, my opinion is it should be, I don't want to say my opinion, but the belief is that it should be between two people that love each other, within an appropriate thing. Now, when I say appropriate, I mean that you can't have somebody that's 56 trying to, be in a relationship or marry a child that's like 8 or 9, because that's a whole nother thing. And for those people that try to put pedophilia and homosexuality in the same spectrum, or think of them as the same, or who feel as though there is no difference, you really need to do your research, and you really need to stop and think about what it is that you're saying, because that is a whole nother thing. That is just, that's for another video, but you get the point. And a marriage and a relationship is between two people that love each other. It shouldn't matter what your gender is. It shouldn't matter what your orientation is. And it's a shame that, people are so narrow-minded and so ignorant, and just feel as though they're so close-minded, they feel they have the right to stop somebody else from being happy for the rest of their life. They feel as though they have the right to prevent people from, who genuinely love each other from getting married, from being able to have a family, from being able to run for positions, for being able to just, achieve things in life. Yet these same people, some of which who are black, who complain about the same thing every day, they're being because of their skin color, they're being prohibited from getting jobs. They're being prohibited from being able to do certain things or achieve certain opportunities. You're going to turn around and be the exact same way to people that have a sexual orientation that identify as something that you don't understand, or that's completely different from you. And my thing is, like, it's so much hypocrisy there, because one minute it's like, well, oh, you shouldn't treat people like this, but then when it comes to people who are part of LGBT, it's a whole nother story. And I'm telling you, that's not how it should be done. Everybody deserves to be treated equal. Everybody has rights that no matter what you believe or don't believe, you shouldn't infringe on them. And that's just the bottom line. It's not nobody has the right to take away somebody's right to be married. Like that's appropriate. And that when I say that, I talked about that exception earlier. Nobody has that right to do that. And the fact that there are so many people out here that feel like they have the right to restrict who can marry who can start whose family. And then what kills me is you'll sit up here and use statistics and you'll lie saying, well, children are raised in a home with a homosexual couple, or et cetera, et cetera. They come out just like them. They come out gay, or they don't have as much as they don't develop as well. Now, I've taken a class on psychology. I've taken 2 classes, college level classes. Mind you, I'm only and still in high school. So when I say that, I've seen the studies, I've seen the statistics, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, because the psychology I took focused a lot on just this area, and a lot of it was dealt with adolescence. A child raised in a child doesn't need a mother and a father to raise them. A child just needs people that love and will care for him or her to raise them. That's it. This whole belief that well, a child won't won't be as well developed mentally or will come out gay. First of all, as far as the mentally well developed, or whatever the heck it is, that some excuse somebody used a while back, statistics have shown that in some cases a child being raised in a homosexual home, because it was loving and a caring home, turned out even better than those raised in a heterosexual home. And the divorce rates among homosexuals is from what I know, from last time I checked, is lower than it is from a heterosexual marriage rate. Divorce rate is lower. And so, with this in mind, people still want to try to lie and get up and preach to people or spew to people, well, it's unhealthy and it's destroying, the nation. Last time I checked, 2 people who love each other being married or being allowed to start families, raising kids in a loving home. Last time I checked, that's not what's destroying a nation. That's not what's destroying a nation. What's destroying a nation is people who don't know what they're talking about, who are too narrow-minded or too ignorant to go actually look up these facts, not looking into them and then spewing and stuff and causing hate and stuff. Last time I checked, what's destroying it, was messing up a nation, is the fact that you're spreading lies and stuff that's not true. Last time I checked, what's destroying and what's messing up a nation is you trying to appeal to the majority and stuff like that in order to gain favor with them, even if what you're saying is completely and utterly wrong and causing harm and hate to spread amongst people. It's causing harm to people, which it is. So don't tell me that people from the LGBTQ spectrum, allowing them to have, relationships and stuff like that, that's what's causing, that's destroying the family. Because last time I checked, their divorce rates are significantly lower than that of a heterosexual. You know what that means? That means they're more stable. That means their families are, they have a stronger bond between each other. Now, of course, of course, there's gonna be some people that's gonna hate talking about, well, you don't know what you're talking about, and you can bring up the Bible if you want to, because I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. If you're gonna do that, then go ahead, do that, but just be aware that if you do that in the comments, be prepared for some people who are actually intelligent enough to see that, to see things. I'm not even gonna elaborate what things in the Bible. I'm not even gonna elaborate on that because I don't feel like getting into that right now. Just be prepared to be combated on that. And because my thing is, you don't have the right to use the Bible in order to force your views on somebody, your interpretations on somebody, and for you to cause harm or ruin somebody else's life. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right. You do not have the right to do that, because that's no different from somebody using their beliefs to harm you or hurt you emotionally or spiritually. So why do you think it's okay to do that to somebody else? You wouldn't want a Muslim using their beliefs to make you feel bad about being a Christian or a Hindu, and vice versa. So why do you do it to somebody else? But that's something that, of course, a lot of people just want to disregard. But I'm not gonna disregard that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And like I said earlier, try to have a nice day. It's pretty nice out here, so hopefully wherever it is that you're at, it's pretty nice. And I'll catch you guys later. See ya.